Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel, Coops Fitness. If you're new here, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel right away. Okay, so today in this video, I want to talk about something very specific about training, something that's going to touch on things that are related to what I've already been talking about in previous weeks on previous videos, and that is simply just progression, but in a specific way. I want to touch on a really specific point today, and I want to stress training smart, right? Not just training hard, but training hard is training smart. I think they're actually the same thing. And you'll hear a lot of people say training hard only works if you're training smart, if you're training consistently, if you're doing everything right, if you're considering all the variables and this and that. And it's really, really important to think about what you're doing and to know, is this actually worth it? And I'm currently starting to realize, like, just because you're training hard, that doesn't mean that you're training smart. It doesn't mean that it's going to be effective. It doesn't mean you're going to get anything out of it. Because at the end of the day, it can go from setting a really high goal that's beyond your expectations, and it's a good thing. I do agree with setting unrealistic goals, because then you can start to expand not only your knowledge, but you begin to expand your whole mental capacity to what you believe you can achieve. And I think that's good. I think with regards to goals and objectives, I think it's necessary to aim high. But here's the problem. This is where people get a little bit mixed up. People take that, average people hear that, and what they do is they start executing in a way where they're aiming too high too fast. So for example, I used to do this all the time, especially working out in the gym, trying to get better myself, trying to progress, particularly on compound lifts, really, really, really important foundational lifts that are going to help me get stronger and help you get stronger, and things that everybody should learn and master. So like the bench press, for example, if I was taking, if I said like I was stuck at 50 pounds on the bar like I used to be, and I was trying to get up there maybe to 225, maybe to 135, maybe to 115 or 120, or just however much, right? If I wanted to break a plateau, if I wanted to start increasing how much I could lift, I would try to do it in much too big increments. I would try to just chase big PRs. I would try to chase these massive goals, short-term goals that weren't realistic is why I can't hit it. What you want to do is you want to set the long-term goals, and then you want to break it up into the steps necessary in the process to start working towards those goals. The long-term vision, the long-term goal, that should be the objective. That should be your crazy idea that you're working towards, because it's going to take time and effort, and it should take time and effort. And if you put in that time and effort, you're going to hit that crazy unrealistic goal because you're going to put in the time and effort, right? So basically what I'm saying is that the long-term objective is actually reasonable to be unrealistic. But where people get mixed up is where they take that and they start applying short-term goals and they start applying short-term objectives, and they start all of a sudden knocking out the steps to try and achieve this big goal that they have. And for me, it just was not working on the bench press. It just wasn't realistic. I would get stuck. I would need help. I would have spotters come help me. I would make mistakes. I would make a fool out of myself. One time, the bar came here, got stuck. I had to roll it off my thighs, and I had to deadlift it back up because I couldn't press it back up because I was an idiot, right? Now, we all do these things to a degree, but I think I was kind of pushing it a little bit. And when you get into that mindset, it starts to become a little bit of a thing where it's like it's good and bad, because you want to have the belief and you want to aim high, but you don't want to go out of bounds. And well, you do and you don't. Like, it's a really complicated issue, because you want to go out of bounds because you never want to put yourself in a box, ever. And this is the biggest thing that I'm getting across. You never want to put yourself in a box, okay? Understand that. You want to expand your belief capacity. You want to convince yourself that even if you can't do something, you need to find a way to do it. And I was always like that. I was always like, no, I'm going to find a way to do this, even if it means failing absolutely miserably and looking a little bit embarrassed for like half a day, or not even that. Looking a little bit stupid for just a couple minutes out of my whole life, right? Because I took that and I started taking it more seriously after. I started taking that more seriously, and I started training smarter on the bench press and not just trying to kill myself and train as hard as possible and just go all out 100% all the time like a stupid, insane maniac. And so most people are on one side of the extreme or the other. Most people will see themselves, whether it's real or not, whether they can really see themselves achieving it, or whether it's fake or whatever, whether they're truly facing it or not. They'll be on one side of the extreme and they'll be like, okay, I'm going to attack this, but maybe they're not serious about it. Maybe they don't have the proper foundations established, which is why they fail. They're just messed up. And then there's the other people who aren't pushing themselves enough, who aren't thinking big enough. There's those people as well. You gotta determine what side of the extreme you're on, and then you kind of gotta criticise yourself. You kind of bring yourself in a little bit, adjust yourself from where you are, adjust yourself from there, and then you just gotta move forward. Now, how I do it now is completely different because I have a different mentality. I'm trying to work on taking approach from a progressive standpoint, right? So basically what I do, I go in there, look at my last PR, look at that, say, okay, this time I'm hitting this much because last time I hit 145, so this time I'm going to hit 150. And that's how it should be. It's not this ego lifting, okay, let's see if I can do this, because I bet you I can. It's not that. And that's one thing that everybody, I think, has to get over a little bit. I think everybody has to learn to control that ego a little bit. Well, I can do this much, I bet I can. Even if you fail. Now, failing's a good thing if you don't end up in the hospital and die, right? But you can't be stupid at the same time. So what I'm saying is that like you can't be stupid is what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting across. Okay? So it's okay, 145 last time. This time we'll hit 150. Next time hit 155. And so on and so on and so forth. Not anything else, not any less on the extreme, not anything more on the extreme, not trying to chase PRs and just see if you can do it because maybe you can do it. Maybe you can do it. See, short-term objectives, short-term goals don't work if you're being unrealistic. Being unrealistic about your goals and being ambitious about your goals, that only works if you're serious about committing to the process long-term. Otherwise, forget about it. Because even if you do have an ambitious long-term objective that's a little bit unrealistic, even if you are serious, you're going to have to do the work and you're going to have to take those realistic short-term steps because you actually have to knock out the steps to achieve your goal. So in order to do that, you're going to have to keep your form dialed in. You're going to have to make sure that you're working on lowering the bar all the way and not just pressing like that. you're going to have to make sure that you're lowering that bar and that you're working on those explosive movements. Have separate workout days where you focus on more dynamic, explosive movements. Have separate days where you incorporate other things, other exercises, other muscle groups, other movements that are going to help you with the particular lift you're struggling with, whether it be the bench press, the overhead press, deadlift, or whatever. Even if it's not lifting, even if it's something else, right? Incorporate other things that are going to help you with it. I always say, make sure you're keeping that form dialed in, and this is why we progress gradually also. See, that's another reason why we progress gradually and not crazy. We want to progress gradually because we want to do it right, not just because we want to be able to progress linear. We want to be able to progress like this and not like this, because we're not setting crazy short-term expectations and then getting disappointed that we fail. We want to make sure that we're getting results consistently. So we progress on personal records very gradually. And so now that's one reason, but the other reason why we do it that way, it's not just so that we, of course, keep going, but also because to keep our form dialed in too. Because if we're doing it very consistently and gradually, it's going to be a lot easier to keep that form dialed in and do the exercise right that way, instead of just plumbing it up there, instead of just setting these crazy expectations and then not doing it right, and then failing and then giving up or getting hurt or whining or complaining or whatever it is that you would do in these situations. Regardless, it's not good. You set yourself back doing it. You do the opposite of what you think you are doing. You're setting yourself back for those reasons. So make sure you're progressing linearly, okay? Make sure you're getting it up there. Make sure you're taking a consistent, gradual approach. Consistency beats everything else. Consistency and intensity, I would say they're pretty close. They're tied. They're a little bit neck and neck. Intensity and consistency. Effort, right? But effort doesn't mean setting unrealistic goals in the short term. Yes, unrealistic goals are actually useful, but only in the long term if you're actually serious about them, because you still have to knock out the steps in the process anyway to achieve those goals, okay? Hope you understand that. Let me know what else you want me to cover. That's it for today's video. Make sure you also follow me on Train with Coops Fitness on all the other platforms, including Instagram. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. We'll see you next time.